Welcome to America's Got Talent. What's your name?
I'm Cody.
Hi, Cody.
I'm Cody D.
How old are you?
I am 22 years old.
Yeah.
Who are you, miss? Who are you?
I'm Mom.
Oh,
I'm
hi,
Tina
Mom.
Lee.
Hi, Tina. How are you? What are you going to do here for us today?
I'm gonna sing a song for you on the piano.
Cody is blind and autistic.
Oh.
Wow.
We found out that he loved music really early on. He listened and his eyes just went huge. And he started singing. And that's when I was in tears, because that's when I realized, oh my gosh, he's an entertainer. So, yeah.
I've been to so many places in my life and time. We're alone now, and I'm singing a song to you. But when my life is over, remember we're together. And I'm singing a song to you.
Mi nombre es Carolina. Soy portuguesa y soy autista. No me gusta el nombre Carolina. Prefiero que me llamen Piaui. Me gustan los columpios y los tíos vivos. Una vez estaba columpiando. Es que columpié tanto tiempo, que gané una herida en la mano. Pero me estaba divirtiendo tanto, que ni me di cuenta del desarrollo de mi herida y ni sentí el dolor. Me gustan las celebraciones, de esas con energía, entusiasmo, actitud, alegría.
And I would hear the underground hovering across the line. I would mimic that sound. When the clock is ticking, I would put rhythms over that. It's like a metronome. I just cling on to it and I start to compose music. We would be at home and he would be there like making sounds, and then he would just pop up, oh, I've got a symphony. We all know that in Jamaica it's more like reggae, you know. Never listened to classical music myself. It was really a surprise to myself and the family, really, that Michael had this passion for classical music. Initially, I was never taught. When I first started, I would basically listen to pieces from Mozart, Beethoven, and then replicate it onto an instrument. So it wants the distress to unveil itself. We don't know where the distress is coming from. Obviously, you're singing what's inside of you, and I understand it. We come a long way in terms of a lot of negativity when he was growing up with the autism, from nursery, from school, you know, a bit of bullying. Teachers didn't understand him, and seeing him doing so well in college now, when I hear him sing, it's just greatness. I feel proud of him.
Anyone's standards, it is an extraordinary story about a teenager who was diagnosed with autism when he was a baby. His mother was told he would never be able to read or to write, but he did learn to read. Not only that, he taught himself algebra, calculus, trigonometry, and now Jacob Barnett, Jake, is studying for a master's degree in quantum physics. He's 14 years old, and he's been tipped as a future Nobel Prize winner. And his mother, Christine Barnett, has written a book about the experience of bringing him up called The Spark. And she and Jacob join us here on Global. A very warm welcome to you. Thanks for coming into the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's really good to meet you. First of all, I was going to talk to your mum in a minute. I want to talk to you. When did you realise you could do math? When did you realise you could just see numbers in a way that most ordinary people can't?
Math has always been really natural to me. I've always really been able to do it, but perhaps when I realized I was different from other people, I went to the Butler Planetarium once. This is the university in my state. But basically, there was a seminar on Mars, and he had asked a question, and he basically asked why the moons around Mars were shaped like potatoes. And I had said, oh, well, you know, the mass of the moons is insufficient for the gravity to make them round. And so I guess it was strange that no other 3-year-olds are able to come up with that kind of stuff.
Let me just pause there.
Our next magazine story is about courage, understanding, and a fierce will to live a normal life. It's the story of Ron Kaufman, diagnosed as a young child with autism, the developmental disability that medical science is constantly struggling to understand.
At a young age, I was diagnosed as severely autistic. I actually had a tested IQ of below 30. And what I would do is I would spend my days spinning plates, rocking back and forth, flapping my hands, and other repetitive, exclusive type behaviors like that. I was really in every way in my own world. You know, I had no language, no communication whatsoever. And my parents were told, look, you know, we're really sorry, he has severe autism. This is how he is, and this is really how he's going to be for the rest of his life. They took me home, and they developed their own home-based, child-centered program where they worked with me for a little over 3 years.
We actually valued Ron as our teacher and literally joined him in his world. And little by little, that little boy slowly let us in.
This child went from having absolutely no connection with anybody to a very outgoing, very talkative, very gregarious, considered to have a near genius IQ, and there are no signs about Ron where you would have any idea of his past.
I don't want to say, you know, everything, but I just really like to have a girlfriend at this point, and I don't.
I really recovered completely.
The top 10 smartest people alive. 7. Jacob Barnett. When Jacob Barnett was born in 1998, he was diagnosed with Asperger's, and his parents were told he would never be able to talk or walk. At age 3, he suddenly started speaking and was reciting the alphabet backwards and explaining the laws of planetary orbit. Showing off his 189 IQ, you can catch Jacob on his YouTube channel, where he explains quantum mechanics.